Welcome to the episode of the Tale of C7 here at We're Not Afraid of the Dark. I'm Adam, as always, joined by Ben and Ashley, who are getting married at like less than 2 months now, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Hey, it's been like a month since we recorded. Also, I went to Florida for a bit. What's new in your guys' lives?
I've been calling out Ross Hall and Chauncey pretty hard.
Yeah, Ben's been on this thing. We asked the guy who plays Squid, so let's say a lot to come on the show. We also asked the guy who plays Gary, Ross Hall, to come on, and they saw the messages, but we didn't get a no, I'm busy in life, or no, guys, fuck off, I hate your podcast.
Yeah, I mean,
There's no response.
If they would have just said like "fuck off," then I wouldn't have to be like, "Oh well."
I don't know. I think that if they had told you to fuck off, you'd have probably gone in harder.
You might be right. But...
Well, I can't say it was a positive. I am talking to someone who was on the show, and they have been responding pretty regularly. We're working out some scheduling things that remain unnamed at the moment, but this would be a big one if we get them on. And it's not DJ McHale either, because again, I'm waiting on that one. That's gonna be the last. I want him to actually reach out to us first. He has to know the podcast.
Really?
Yeah. Also, I want to mention this. Since the movie has been announced, it actually has no release date now, so we don't know if the movie's been pushed back, but there have been like 2 or 3 other Are You Afraid of the Dark podcasts that pop up since that announcement. They're all in season 1 as this recording. We're recording this in early March right now. However, here we are halfway, almost completely through after today, on season 5 of Are You Afraid of the Dark. I didn't remember this episode at all. I think vaguely. I remember an episode about a jukebox, but that was about it. The plot device of this.
Yeah. Well, all right. While we're shouting out people in the last podcast, as of the time of this recording that was put out, I said if we get 5 comments, that I would buy a bottle of the Secret Spice rum. Michael Perez was the guy that commented 5 times.
I was say, first of all, that don't count, but technically
it does. It's 5 comments.
Technically, all right, we got our first troll. Haha. He just did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're welcome, Adam.
Thanks.
So,
not to mention, I've spent like 200 hours in that fucking rub over the course of this podcast.
Yeah, shit. I don't even want to do the math on us. But here's to Michael Perez.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I always have to sit mine. So another special mention. I'm at a restaurant expo in Ocean City the other week, and we got a complimentary bag of hoop tea there. So we're drinking that on this podcast as well. I think Benny's a little fill up here.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pass it around. Now I did have some people talk to me about this. They're like, "What do you guys mention it?" Yes, it's hoop tea, hoop HOOP. And you can go to their website. There's a locator on there. If you're not in the Mid-Atlantic like we are, you can find stores that sell in your area. We have a real-life brother or sister playing brother and sister in this episode, by the way. Jess Moss and Tegan Moss are the actors here. Did you guys recognize the boy in the episode?
He did look familiar.
Yes.
He was in. Me and Caleb have been on a Final Destination kick. He's in number 3, playing a guy named Jason, and plays a kid named Jason in this episode.
I told him when we saw the kid, I'm like, I know him.
Yeah, he still acts today. I'm wondering though, if since his name's Jason in this and Jason in that, is there now a connection between Are You Afraid of the Dark and Final Destination franchise?
Oh my god!
Yeah, and you know, if there's any horror movie, it needs another sequel, it's that franchise. It was phenomenal. I heard they're making they're going to reboot the franchise though.
Did she mention the
I gave him some trivia that he didn't know.
Yeah,
what was that?
I don't know if she mentioned it on the podcast yet or not, but it was that Sabrina the Teenage Witch and Mortal Kombat are taking place in the same universe because Shang Tsung shows up in one of the episodes and
was
takes
when they were doing the movie. It was like a promo thing.
And takes Salem's soul, and Sabrina has to do whatever shenanigans to get the soul of her cat back.
Yeah, that's pushing it, but I'll look into that. See, Sabrina the Teenage Witch was one of those shows that I watched when it was on, but never watched reruns. So me having to go back 20 years to remember the episodes, it's hard. I can remember some characters, but not exactly the plots of most of them. There's an argument about Stig's wardrobe where Kiki say like he owes He just wears the same thing every day. I remember like a lot of teens, including me, did that back in the day. Like you just have your favorite outfit. That's kind of your uniform.
I
Yeah.
mean, and outside of that, let's be honest, we were all just wearing jeans and t-shirts every day. Everybody wore the same thing every day.
Yeah, well, especially in small towns. Like I remember, like it was such a shop at the same stores. You had the same outfits when people walking around. Although mine was like black band t-shirts and khakis for a while, and I forgot why it was khakis. I think it was just more comfortable than jeans.
That's Christopher's argument.
Yeah. Tucker says he can't remember what he wanted to tell everybody, and Betty Ann says if you stop trying, maybe you'll think about it. Sam goes on about what her story is going to be about and the memories that people share. Goes in with various props of stories that she's mentioned, like her grandmother's locket was a long ago locket, the scoring was a dream girl, and the whistle was that stupid fucking Watcher's Wood episode.
Christ, that was terrible.
Says,
I'm
yeah.
glad that's one of the times I'm glad we did it live because I don't remember shit.
Yeah, that was one of the ones we better forgot about, and it was rough. Says that a lot of memories are shared, and if you look at stuff and think about the same thing, it brings you together as friends. And if we didn't have memories, you have no past, and they're friends, and the future is just empty and lonely. So pretty much Alzheimer's or dementia.
No, because you meet someone new every day. And that's refreshing.
That's not
Yeah.
sad.
Well, dementia is different from Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's you just forget completely, but dementia is more of like you forgot you did something or said something. So some of these older people just say the same thing 5 times in 20 minutes. We meet Jason and his little sister Lisa, who are really happy that their mom quit her job to start her own business and that they're moving to the countryside where there's some abandoned house. I like how in all these kid shows from back in the 80s and 90s, the parents always buy a house without ever showing the kids or taking them there. So I guess they got a babysitter every time they needed to go to a house showing, right?
Well, back then, our parents didn't pretend that we ran everything. Like, basically, what they said went, what they
Yeah.
chose was it. Like,
Well, I remember trying to influence my parents to buy a car because it was always like some like really generic family car. They
Mhm.
always kind of did. It was like, okay, you got to do car day. Thanks for taking me shopping with you. They probably do better than that, right?
that's true.
Yeah. We find out that this house used to be the Homestead Inn and was a B&B full of life. I also like how we have a single mom here who just quit her job out of nowhere, and they just moved to this house without any renovations. She got a contract, like nothing's done
Yeah,
yet.
and has money like that to like. Jeez.
Yeah, and I'm really big the real estate and abandoned houses and stuff. So, and not exactly realistic.
Oh hey, that church. Did you get the permissions for that yet?
I'm working. I got the contact.
Okay, cool. Because me and Ashley do want to go.
I've been wanting in that building since the first time I
They're
saw it.
referring to my series called Forgotten Dumb Marvel, which is also on Facebook and YouTube. It's where I go into abandoned houses, abandoned churches, graveyards, all kinds of different stuff, and tell stories of the past. And you don't have to be from the area to enjoy it because we see some pretty awkward stuff. Did you see my video I posted last night of the buckets?
No, but I like how you just posted.
Shameless plug.
You posted that thing on Facebook the other day, and it was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to be on the fucking news.
Yeah,
5:00 tonight."
yeah, I was on the news the
So-
other day and everything.
So back to fucking
Y'all's
Ross Hall.
mom's the one that
Just
told
because
me.
you're on the news doesn't mean shit. You want to read our messages and not respond? Huh? You better than us?
Although maybe he has like an assistant who just runs all the social media. He never
That's
actually checks.
possible.
Well, then
Yeah.
that's fucking worse.
That's what I did. You need it sometimes. It's a full-time job
No,
being active
no.
on social media. We also find out that there's a little boat at this dock because it's a lakeside bed and breakfast, and the younger sister can't swim at all. What'd you guys think of that giant stuffed animal when they're back inside? It's like someone you really win at a carnival game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it scares her with that. I like how that's one of the first items they bring in the house, by the way. And they just came that little ass car with the luggage on top.
Well, it takes the
Mhm.
most space up in the car, I guess.
Well, I remember
Why the fuck would you bring it?
I never forget. I was driving back from Atlantic City one year on the expressway, and there's somebody in a convertible with just this big fucking stuffed animal taking up the entire back seat by themselves. So I was like, damn, you guys are pretty proud of this. Those are the type of things that end up at Goodwill in like 6 months, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The next day, they go into another section of the house, and we find an old jukebox down there. He plugs it in, like those lights flickering. He presses A2 and seems really amazed about this. There's a noise coming from it, and it says it must be bring back a lot of memories.
So all right. I got this one little like I guess I don't actually have a problem with this episode. Sure, a lot of this shit's recycled. Like a lot of the little fucking, like lost loves, and you know, there's a relic of some kind, some kind of item that has some kind of meaning or whatever. Is it the jukebox itself, or is it the song?
Or the house or
That's
the
an excellent question because I was thinking about that at the end of the episode. So
E-
let's tackle that when we get there.
Okay,
All right.
all right.
You remember we got to run through all this entire thing is academics.
Okay.
Now the question I don't have a lot of electronic experience, but is it possible for something to get that smoky when you plug it in?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because there's sparks flying out there and all kinds of shit. Oh, by the way, the actress playing the mom here, she was in the Final Wish episode with Bobcat Goldthwait.
Okay.
Yeah, she played the parent in that.
All right.
She also looked like the mom in the Dark Music episode. You say that resemblance at all?
I got a kind of dark music vibe from this.
Yeah. Jason says it's probably just loose connection, and he just starts like getting a toolbox out and
How old would you
Chuck
place
on
this
his-
kid?
14, 15 probably.
You're gonna hand. All right. So, would you hand Christopher? Well, Christopher's 12.
I would have placed the kid probably, I'd say 13. I
Okay.
don't think he'd be 15.
Would you hand
13,
him a
14.
box of tools and a jukebox that was just recently plugged in, and say, "Here you go, Mister Fix It"?
No, because honestly, all like dangers aside, like he don't know shit. It's gonna be worse than it was to begin
Oh,
with.
actually,
Adam, a buddy of mine.
mhm.
I'm not gonna name him.
This is a good story.
When you bought Adam bought me this arcade, Street Fighter arcade. Funny enough, I'm wearing a Karate Kid Street Fighter hybrid shirt right now. He bought me this arcade for Christmas, $50, because the fucking thing didn't work. Okay, cool. So me and my buddy are trying to figure out how it was working and all this stuff. Every time we tried to fuck with the back, we unplugged it. Old electronics, there's still energy stored in
The tubes, yeah.
in the tubes. So he had touched that, got shocked, and knocked back. So
Sorry when people get dangerous. It's funny.
yeah. So like a couple years later, like it eventually did stop working. And we always said it's because it needs more of his blood to work. But yeah, no, you would not have
Now,
you would not have kids working on.
Oh, so the actor was 12 years old when he shot this, so he looks a little bit older. He was like he had puberty earlier, but yeah,
Yeah.
he was born in 83. This came out in 95. Now, the other thing about your story is the fact that you have another friend who has an electronic engineering degree, and he said like he could have died from
Oh
touching
yeah,
it.
oh yeah, yeah.
That's the one who got it working. Thanks, Lee. Well, Jason comes up with the idea, which is probably the idea that the mom should have had, which is get other old decor like that and put the bed and breakfast back to its former glory. I have a trivia question for you, by the way.
I hope it's not like your fucking Christmas trivia.
No, it's better. It's a history question.
Okay.
Which war has the nickname the Forgotten War?
I actually know this. Hang on.
The French and Indian War.
No,
I want to say Korean, but I don't think
that's
right.
correct.
Oh.
Oh.
No, the reason I bring that up is because we mentioned some uniforms before, but most of, if not all of the wars, other than the long lost Lockett episode, have to do with World War II. They don't never mention Korean. They never mention the Vietnam War. And I wonder why it's the case. I know because of this age bracket, a lot of people's grandparents had fought in World War II. However, that also would have placed them in the Korean War era that was in the 50s.
Yeah, that's
And
the one
the-
my grandfather was in.
Yeah.
Well, the Vietnam War.
Obviously, the World War II was bigger, but the Korean War is called Forgotten War because it's in between the World War II and Vietnam War, so it gets a little bit overlooked at
Ooh,
times.
Adam, speaking of wars, my ring came in.
Which one?
My wedding ring.
Oh, okay.
And it is made of a World War I rifle stock
Oh, nice.
and an infantryman uniform.
Cool.
So there's that.
I think he's going to show you.
Yeah, I'll show you a picture.
Now, Ben, what war are you technically a veteran of?
Operation Enduring Freedom.
Is that Afghan or
Yeah.
Iraq? Okay, Afghan war.
It's a really strange name when you think about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, there's Operation Iraqi Freedom, which was Iraq, obviously, and then there was Enduring Freedom, which was Iraq and Afghanistan. So
I just don't get how they came up with enduring freedom.
Everything was about freedom back then. Okay, you had freedom fries,
Yeah,
the
but-
Patriot Act, everything with the George W. Bush
Well,
era.
that's my whole point. That they were hyping up the freedom thing. Endure means to like live with, get through.
Yeah, that's
just
right.
Kind of
we had to live with freedom.
like it's got a negative connotation to it.
Jason goes to hit C7 on the jukebox, and for our really young listeners who don't know, old jukeboxes always had a letter and a number.
Ooh.
You can see these are some old bars. Hey, Ben, by the way, there's a bar in our hometown where they haven't changed the CDs inside the jukebox for like 15 years. So you see, like, now that's what I'll call music for. Something like that. I see Top Country Hits 2003 on it.
Yeah, Garth Brooks'
Yeah.
his first album.
So, yeah, so you hit.
We'll leave Garth out of this.
So you hit the letter, you hit the number. This one's labeled Last Dance. It doesn't load, but he hits B5, and that one loads. It's playing some old big band music from around World War II era. He says, now just have to find some decent records. Then he looks back, and there's a ghost figure in the dock, and this woman's hot as shit, man.
She's not on the dock. She's on the
the window.
She's on like the patio.
Yeah, but she's looking good. Her name's Stephanie Ballard. She was on You Can't Do That on Television.
Nice.
Yeah, one of the actors on there. Her next credit after this episode was playing cheerleader number 2 in a TV movie called Pretty Poison. And she was later in Night of the Demons 3. Do you remember that movie?
No.
Do you remember the cover of this? That's the cover.
Can we place bets on whether or not she took her shirt off?
That's Night of the Demons 2.
Very well.
I remember seeing that
I
for
have seen
VHS
that.
rental. Yeah,
Yeah.
They had really iconic cover art. And actually, yes, you are right. She has a one credit.
I am shocked.
Yeah, on Mr. Skin.
I'm not shocked.
I think she should have button a little bit of boob, I think. Or just her butt. Yeah, it was later on in a movie. It's her most recent kind of sidelines a TV movie where she's playing the nurse. There's Night of the Demon 3 where she shows her butt. But she had 5 stars in that.
For a butt shot?
Yeah, well, Jason gets
Maybe
really
she
scared.
does for squats.
Well, and the thing is, like, she's not that. She's not as ghostly as we saw, like, Room for Rent, where they're glowing. She's
Or
like
fucking
the
frozen ghost.
yeah, she's like the old woman in Apartment 213, where she looks normal, but she just looks dated. You know what I mean? So why is he so scared? And I mean, at that age, he should have been attracted to her, right?
I mean, he might have popped a chub. I don't know. I don't know his life.
He goes outside to examine, and then gets shocked when his mom and sister come out with groceries, and of course, nothing in there's bags. She just got like some kale or spinach. And that bag gets missing, though, I think.
Yes.
At night, he hears music playing again, and that's the thing. They heard some music playing in this house. It goes back to the basement with the jukebox on. The girl comes back and sees Jason. He asks who she is. She puts a hand up and then goes towards him. But then he's like hitting a button and she fades away. Now, at that point, it's apparent this girl's a ghost. Kind of like Dream Girl. Kind of like the Prom Queen. Kind of like Lonely Ghost.
Kind of like they
kinda like
picked a
whispering,
whole bunch
in.
of little pieces out of all these other episodes and we're like, here, make it work.
Yeah. These love
They were
Pour me
grasping.
some rum, please.
kind of like they ran out of fresh ideas.
Well, the mom doesn't believe him, and it blames him on his sleepwalking habit. He says, well, when I was talking and doing this one, sleepwalking. The place is haunted, and Lisa overhears this. Lisa's kind of entranced on the dock, but then they kind of just fade away from it. The next day, Jason's washing, some windows, and he sees Lisa starting to row the boat. So he pulls the rope back in and asks her where she's going. She doesn't know how to swim. She says she heard a lady in the canoe, but don't see anything. She says that she was singing along to an old-fashioned song, and some guy promised to dance with her again. Then she started to cry, and Jason says they need to get a dot for mom sees, and of course she's right behind him. Moms have all eyes, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They know all.
Yeah, I remember someone joked with someone going forward. They saw everything. They said you need to be a mom or a teacher. Jason tells mom that she was talking about a ghost, and mom says they could only afford the place based on the story. So here we get why mom bought the house for dirt cheap, because the agent told her about the stigma on her property. The place is haunted. It was some story about how just after World War II, a soldier's about to come home, and he had a girlfriend across the lake. They were going to throw a big party. However, they got telegram the night before that he wasn't coming home, and somehow couldn't tell his girl in time because apparently even back in the 40s they didn't have telephones or anything.
She lived right across the lake.
So hold on. Did she die? Like,
Yeah, she dies in the canoe because they mentioned a storm happened that night that she
okay.
didn't know about. And
So did she ever like? Was this when she left? Like they found out.
she was leaving to go to the party, is my assumption.
Okay, so she was leaving to go to the party. Never found out that he was actually dead.
Or
She
just not coming back. 'Cause I don't think they said dead. They just said not coming back in time.
she dies on the way to the party.
Yeah,
Shouldn't they have just met up somewhere?
It.
you would think. Oh, the
I mean,
Kyle like prom queen, right? Where they both die.
Yeah.
or she goes to the party. He's dead. She goes to go back to her house across the lake, drowns in a fucking canoe. Either way, it's been done.
Well, mom's being a capitalist here because she doesn't believe the old ghost stories that she mentions, and she wants to make money off of this new inn. Although I would just live it up and say like, "Oh yeah, we got this big ghost story here. We're gonna have ghost tours every single week. We're gonna make a lot of money." Kind of like when I went to Lizzie Borden house, and they were doing some kind of ghost radio psychic thing. But me, the person I went with, just went at the bar, I got completely shit faced drunk.
I did something similar in Gettysburg.
Yeah.
I want to go to Gettysburg.
Jason's doing some more tests. Oh, and the little sister was reading a Ghastly Grinner comic. Did you guys see that? How she's reading the Ghastly Grinner comic?
Oh.
This won't be the first time.
Yeah, well, I liked how she's reading one page, and then like on the next scene where she's reading the comic book guys at the same spot. It's like, how fucking long does it take to read a comic book? I mean, you can finish those in like 20 minutes, right? It's like there's a graphic novel she's reading.
Well, Sylvester Uncas put a lot of time into that comic.
There are a lot of details.
Jason's fucking with this jukebox again, and C7 still doesn't work. Says something stuck. Says jammed, and I think he fixes it at that point. Lisa looks outside and mentions needing to warn the girl about the storm. He keeps talking, but Lisa's long gone. He thinks she took the boat again, and on this dock there's like plenty of light. I was wondering how much fucking light those little things on that dock illuminate, because it looks like a full moon, like completely full lights on the sky. Yeah. The front door closes as he's inside. The jukebox lights up. He hits C7 since it's the one she wants, and now it works since he unjammed it. He becomes a trance, and now he's back in time at the welcome party where we see a few people dressed in 1940s attire. And our soldier comes in here alive, and he made it. Tommy's his name. This is played by actor Colin Ferguson. It's listed as first grade. You guys know this guy?
He looks very familiar.
Yeah, the name sounds
familiar. I
familiar.
couldn't tell you where.
Yeah, I couldn't find. He was on the show Eureka, if you ever saw that.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. And in the movie Because I Said So came out in 2007. He's been acting along. It was in Vampire Diaries, shows like that, Haven.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of TV credits. Now that he's back safe, he asks, "What's her name in this?"
It's just an I think.
Iris, that's it. Yeah, her name is Iris. Ask where Iris is, and everybody else got supported, but then she just comes in. And now the song's playing. They have a little song to dance to where the onlookers look happy. Now, another little tidbit here. They had a disco light above them.
Mm-hmm.
When was the disco light invented?
The disco ball? That's a good question.
I couldn't tell you when it was invented,
but
it's think named after the 70s, apparently, the disco shit.
I think the 1960s when the disco, because
let's see.
Yeah, I got look this up.
It's worth a Google.
When was disco ball invented? What did they drop at Times Square for that then?
That's not a disco ball.
That's
That's crystal.
That's a disco ball that they have in there.
It's not a disco ball.
It turns out the earliest example can be seen in the 1927
27.
film.
Yep.
But it says in the 1960s, 70s, 80s that it were standard in discotheques. I don't think that was. Yeah, that's old timey. So they did
But-
have them back then.
Another reason that there could have been one. Well, no, because he was back in time. I was gonna say the chandelier does fucking fall when he trips over that stuff,
Yeah.
and they could have just put a fucking disco ball up there for now. But he's back in time, so the disco ball, party ball, whatever the fuck it is, that's yeah. I mean, it lines up. Shit, fuck it.
Oh, but their kiss there was kind of awkward because she kind of like kisses his bottom lip, and like they kind of pull. They kind of pull away. Kayla, never do that again while I'm recording. You're banished.
No.
I have a big pet peeve with people coming in while recording. You know better than this shit.
Well, then you need a place that's not in her house too.
Yeah, you have everything straight. We have a full service bar in our condo. So anybody listening to our audio podcast, you have to get on YouTube and check this shit out because we do have some antics over here, and you can see our pretty faces.
Ashley's pretty face.
Yeah, Kayla's bombing it today, right?
Kayla is beautiful
Yeah.
all the time.
All right, now Ben, let's discuss our plot holes here. One, is this like the butterfly effect now that they met up, where everything's going to change and now the inn's not haunted, so that the family can never buy the place for dirt cheap?
But well, here's the thing.
They already bought it.
There, I mean, everyone's still dead. You know, like okay, maybe they're spirits or whatever the fuck. You know, like okay, they're still dead. My thing is, I think her ghost or whatever should have been like coming whenever C7's played. Not whenever the jukebox itself is on. What the fuck? You know, like how is anyone supposed to glean any information off of that when just that's going on and fucking there's a ghost around?
See, it's never been a disco ball.
What's the point of her luring out the sister to the ocean?
There's not.
I mean, what was that? What was that about, Adam?
That's a great question, Ashley. Yeah, I like the premise of this episode, but
I mean,
when it goes to this point, I'm a little apprehensive about
I
it.
like it too. This is the best one
Of the three we're
of
recording
the
today.
three we're
Yeah.
doing today, and I mean,
It's still got problems.
yeah, it's still got
Yeah,
problems.
Well, they mentioned now that the song kind of fixed, since it was jammed, they can now be together. And they mentioned at the end that the song never played again.
Could never get C7 to work again. So does that mean if you finally does get some new records that just don't put one in C7 because the bits don't work any fucking way?
Maybe. Thunder starts, and now Tuck remembers, oh, yeah, there's supposed to be a storm tonight. Get it? Storm the story, storm in real life. And the rain puts out that campfire real quick.
Yes.
Well, there we have it. Tales of C7. I couldn't help but think of playing C4 and GoldenEye, by the way, this whole time.
Couldn't help but think of Battleship.
Oh, yeah. That too. We got anything to plug?
No.
Thanks, RJ.
Patreon. Get all this Patreon and really plug this thing up. We need more liquor. We need podcasting fees. Promotion. I love putting some money into stuff. Oh, we got to take a trip to Canada.
I still have to do my rant for the Instagram clip against Ross Hall and Squints.
Let's just do this now, then.
No.
Alright.
Let me get a little more booze in me.
All right.
Because then it'll be really colorful.
All right. Well, thanks to everybody again. We'll see you next time.
Bye.